Good afternoon and welcome to News Hour. I am David Patrick Mara. Coming up in this edition of News Hour, Vice President Victor Bokarifo calls on Veteran Journalists Union to provide guidance and required skills to practicing journalists. A session for civil society and the judiciary to ensure access to justice for citizens ends in Freetown. Korea Ambassador to Sierra Leone supports Freetown City Council with $120,000 for the rehabilitation of the Eastern Municipal School. All the stories, including business and sports, are lined up in this edition of News Hour. Welcome back for our first story this afternoon. A one-day session for civil society and the judiciary aimed at ensuring access to justice for citizens has ended at the British Council Hall. The forum was organized by the Campaign for Good Governance and the Good Governance Organizations in Nigeria, known as BODJIT, under the Access to Justice Sierra Leone project. Doreen Kaloko reports.
This session is being designed to bridge the gap between civil society and the judiciary and ensure mutual understanding and commitment to help the citizens regain access to justice. The Executive Director of Campaign for Good Governance, Vanora Edwin, said that the dialogue session with the judiciary and the civil society seeks to address the challenges identified by the TRC report of 2004 that identified all forms of injustice as contributing factors of the rebel war. She said that their intervention with the judiciary will bridge the gap and energize their hopes to yield positive results. Madam Edwin said that they have strived over the years with the judiciary system by providing legal aid for victims of domestic violence, including sexual violence, both medical and legal-wise. She spoke of the need to ensure citizens' rights are protected. Program Director, Campaign for Good Governance, Marcella Samba-Sisse, said that over the years, citizens have been finding it difficult to access justice, which is why the sudden need to create a platform to discuss challenges in accessing justice and chart the way forward. She said that the platform is not to blame any institutions, but a forum to lay the parameters and gain support and cooperation. President of Mawopnet Yasmin Jusu Sharif expressed the belief that justice is a right and entitlement of all, adding that commitment and support will help the citizens regain access to justice. She calls for willingness of all institutions to set the space, adding that civil society and the judiciary should ensure strong partnership and sustainable cooperation for the interest of the people.
Farmers from various parts of the country have a symbolic handing over ceremony receive improved rice, otherwise known as Paboila, from the West African Agricultural Productivity Program. The ceremony took place at the Gambia, aimed at promoting innovative rice possession in the country. Here is the report.
Of the improved rice parboilers will, among others, help farmers to engage in innovative rice processes in their respective districts. According to the Monitoring and Evaluation Officer of WAP, Capri Lako, the procurement of the parboilers is as a result of a value chain study undertaken by WAP to see how post-harvest losses could be minimized and value added to rice produced by farmers. He added that the study discovered gaps that led to huge post-harvest losses and that WAP thought it fit to introduce the improved parboilers to address challenges posed by post-harvest losses.
We will be very disappointed if we come with the parboiler and they don't normally use them.
The National Commission for Persons with Disability has commemorated the 5th year of the National Disability Act. The act was signed by President Ernest Bai Koroma in April 2011. Francis Danema has the details.
Most of the provisions of the Act for persons with disability, according to the physically challenged people, have not been actualized. The Disability Commission, which was established by government to implement the provisions of the Act, called on journalists and other partners to align their successes and challenges in implementing the provisions of the Act. The Executive Secretary, National Persons with Disability, Sir Lamin Kotekui, informs the gathering that his commission desires all of them to reflect on the development that has taken place since the Act was passed into law and to find ways to actualize its provisions. Chairman of the National Commission for Persons with Disability, Frederick Mara, informs the gathering that he was appointed to man the affairs of the Commission at a point wherein the Commission was completely handicapped. The Commission, he went and cannot boost of office space, vehicles, and workers. He lauds all those who have contributed in diverse ways to take the Commission to its current level. The chairman of the commission says its institution is challenged with funding and human resource to implement the provisions in the Act. Chief Social Services Officer, Minister of Social Welfare, Gender and Children's Affairs, Sunday Sinha, calls on the Disability Commission to popularize the Disability Act, while the Director of Social Welfare, Francis Muhammad Kabia, encourages the Commission to pursue the implementation of the Act at all levels. The commemoration of the 5th year of the Act came at a time when no person with disability is in Cabinet and Parliament to participate in decision-making at Cabinet level. President Sierra Leone Union of Persons with Disability, Kaba Franklin Bangura, says they have presented a position paper to the President that they need a disability aid to the President and at least 5 presidential appointments. President Koroma Franklin Bangura Rinton has assured them of his commitment to include them in decision-making.
Executive Director, Legal Aid Board has called on officials of the Sierra Leone Labour Congress to ensure that workers in the informal sector recover their benefits from employers. Fatmata Claire Carlton Hansels was speaking at an engagement with the Sierra Leone Labour Congress at its headquarters. Princess Gibson has the story.
This is part of series of engagements by the board with stakeholders in both the private and public sectors. The Executive Director of Legal Aid Board, Claire Carlton Hansels, calls on officials of the Labour Congress to ensure that workers in the informal sector recover claims from their employers.
Especially those working in the domestic services, where we know they get money for recover benefits for them. Because there's a number of people in the road, either they're drivers, or they work for shops, or they work in various domestic and private to commercial capacity. Then one, they have their minimum wage. And then 2, they are dismissed just like that. And as the board now, we don't even know what to do. So from Labour Congress, they said to survey matters in the, even though they are industrial courts. Because in some of them, settlement is the best way. One, we need a system in court.
The Secretary General of the Sierra Leone Labour Congress explains the procedure involved to benefit from their services.
So the problem about people when they be complacent, for example, like the particular example, common workers. You will ask the question, we are the members of the union. They don't know. But again, not to their fault, they will not make themselves very visible.
The president of the Sierra Leone Labour Congress, Janice Wright, says his organization has benefited from the operations of the Legal Aid Board. He thanked the leadership of the board for assuring the Congress of free representation for their clients, but warns against committing deliberate crimes. Princess Gibson, SLBC.
Cow herders in Masimra Chiefdom have been reconciled to the development of area bylaws after backing down on threats to avow death oaths known as swear for the death of and disappearance of their cows. A government veterinarian, Dr. Abdul Jallo, the LUC of Masieka, and Member of Parliament for Constituency 58 were all present at the court barrier of Paramount Chief by Shebora Tunkla, who said that he will not intervene if the cow herders resorted to traditional retribution. Well, on a larger ramification, Harold Williams reports.
Paramount Chief by Simira Tonkla expressed his disappointment that people of his chiefdom had reneged on the historical understanding between cow owners and farmers. He said such disaffection went against the principles of his authority, and it was shameful that Masimira chiefdom was gaining a reputation for cow rustling. Paramount Chief by Sebra Tonkla said his authority would no longer be available to prevent people from using traditional death oath, commonly known as swear, to seek redress for the loss of their cows. Government veterinarian and animal rights activist Dr. Abdul Jallo said the cost of one cow is approximately $8,000. He lectured on the importance of livestock in the overall structure of food security in any nation and referred to livestock census figures as important indicators which have been neglected in Sierra Leone. Dr. Jallo said the recent incidents of cow rustling were unfortunate because Masimira had been the site of the first successful crossbreeding of cows. The new cow breeds are capable of producing 30 liters of milk per day, whereas local breeds produce less than 2 liters per day. Dr. Jallo said cow rustling has been on the increase and criminal prosecution was not enough to deter the cutlass, gunshot, trap injuries and deaths of the cows. Cow herders such as Cherno Aliu said that according to evidence, cow rustling is becoming an organized criminal racket, leaving the cow herders with little option except to promise grave consequences for all participants in the demise of the local herds commonly known as Wore. Cherno Aliu said most cow herders have no other income and only recently have there been failed attempts at reconciliation. The meeting revealed that cows were in competition with the village residents for scarce water resources and gardens. Several farm owners also expressed their dissatisfaction with the cows and with the lack of access to compensation. Clarity was provided by the district livestock officer from the adjacent Tonkolili district, who summarized the 2013 government regulations, which state that both livestock ranchers and farmers belong to one sector and must settle boundaries through co-management. District Livestock Officer Ahmed Kanu said joint management and other instructions in the policy explained how organic fallow, cow traffic and cow handling were all addressed in order to prevent conflict. Mr. Kanu attributed the cow rustling to juvenile delinquency and inaccurate reporting of the cow population. Local Unit Commander for Masiaka Division, Superintendent Gloria Macaulay, said Masimira was producing frequent reports for illicit activities, including cow rustling, suspicious movement of people, and suspicious consignments. Superintendent Macaulay reminded the people of the chiefdom of their indigenous traditional grievance redresses, which appeared absent. In her words, there was no chiefdom chain of command and the chiefdom had to put their house in order. Member of Parliament for Constituency 58, Honorable Baba Kamara, advised his constituents not to hesitate in disclosing matters of conflict as a way to prevent police and court action. Member of Parliament Baba Kamara said all avenues for reconciliation must be exhausted, including headmen, councillors and chiefdom authorities. He underscored the importance of conciliation between crops and livestock and advised that according to the policy of the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Food Security, a day should be set aside for the development of area bylaws between the farmers and cow herders.
The Korean ambassador to Sierra Leone has supported the Freetown City Council with $120,000 for the rehabilitation of the Eastern Municipal School, which was burnt down last year. The handing over ceremony was held at the school compound at Kennedy Street. Mariama Denke-Kanu reports.
The school main building was burnt down in November 2015, which left the school children with no option but to find solace at the Bishop Johnson Memorial Secondary School. The school before the fire incident has been accommodating about 2,000 school children. Chairing the program, Abubakar Darami said the Freetown City Council did its level best to seek assistance at both national and international levels. Mr. Darami added that the financial support is from Korea, whilst the Freetown City Council will provide the technical and labor support. Mayor of Freetown, Franklin Bode Gibson, said the assistance from Korea is as a result of his friendly relationship with the Korean ambassador. The mayor thanked the youths of the Frabe community for assisting the National Fire Force to put the fire out. Mr. Bode Gibson called on the children to practice good manners, most especially the girl child, so that they would not involve in early pregnancy.
Your personal hygiene, you children, your personal hygiene. By this I mean your body, the way you keep it, the way you keep your bodies clean is good for each and every one of you. Don't keep yourself dirty. It does not good for you. It does not good for your health. It will not help you sitting and playing with others. Keep yourself clean. Keep your environment clean. Any place around you, keep it clean. Don't throw bits on the ground. Don't use abusive language in public places. It is not good for you, not even at home, nor should I say at school.
Director, Decentralization Secretariat, Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, Al-Hassan Kanu, assured the Korean ambassador that the Ministry of Local Government would monitor the rehabilitation of the school building. He commended the mayor of Freetown for its positive leadership by sourcing funds for the rehabilitation of the school. Education Officer of Freetown City Council, Henry Five, recalled the day when he was told that the school has been burnt down. Mr. Five said their relief was the Bishop Johnson Memorial Secondary School, adding that the school capacity did not have adequate accommodation for the pupils. The Korean ambassador, Noh Kyu-duk, encouraged the children to concentrate on their studies. Ambassador Noh Kyu-duk promised the children that he will revisit the school after being constructed. Aisata Bangura, a pupil, thanked the Korean ambassador and the Freetown City Council for the rehabilitation of their school.
Surveys from the south and eastern regions have commended Plan International Sierra Leone for their support to the council during the Ebola outbreak. Secretary General, National Surveys Council, made this disclosure at a courtesy call to the country director of Plan Sierra Leone, Kingsley Coleman. Hawa Mosiri has more.
Plan Sierra Leone is one of the international organizations that worked closely with the government and other partners to eradicate Ebola out of the country. National Secretary General Survey Council, Kadi Zurukon, commended the country director of Plan Sierra Leone for their tremendous support in the fight against Ebola. She said Plan Sierra Leone was the only organization that provided support to them in the area of educating them on the dangers and effects of the disease. She assured the country director about their commitment towards the age of consent before initiating girls into the Bondo society.
When I be done the work before, and really praise the effort when I be done what we appreciate very much. In fact, that makes some of we say we will join, we all will come together for cancer time. Apart from me being the National Secretary General, me like the coordinator for the Southern region for all the story that we did at the South. After we election, we'll be done a meet with UNICEF
on series of occasions. Then we newly elected minister, when our Dr. Sylvia Blyden, we began a meeting with her yesterday. We don't come, they don't put her on that. Except say, you're not a member of Bondo society, but it supports the society. Because what you make, what your government we don't say, for stop for put small between them Bondo. Anybody where they below 18 years, that's these organizations were deep for abide with that. Because Bondo not for
The country director of Plan Sierra Leone, Casey Coleman, said their visit coincided with the 40th anniversary celebrations of Plan Sierra Leone. The country director disclosed that during the outbreak of Ebola, they had meetings with SOWIS through the office of the First Lady to stop the mode of transmission of the disease in their communities. Plan Sierra Leone Country Director Casey Coleman noted that Plan has operated in Sierra Leone for 40 years, working on the rights of women and children in education and health. After the visit, the country director also briefed the media about activities Plan International has been embarking on in the country. He spoke about activities lined up to commemorate the 40th year anniversary.
During the Ebola crisis, some of you saw our contribution. In Port Loco, we were the ones who managed the community care centers. In Kailam, we provided the interim care center. We did the same in Moyamba. And then also we partnered with the Consortium of Secret Societies and the First Lady to launch the Ebola Behavior Change Initiative, which we think is one of the reasons why we were able to defeat the disease. Because some of the cultural practices were also the sources of the transmission of the disease, and with the partnership of the SOWIS and the Consortium of Secret Societies, we were able to work together to address Ebola. Now Ebola is gone, we have to come back to the business of transforming this country. And this year plan is going to be 40 years. And we've done a couple of projects recently that I want to share with you. We have supported the National Commission of Children to develop their strategic plan and also their website. We have provided support in that area. We are also one of the biggest investors in the National Youth Farm program in Mashaka, which we want to work with the Ministry of Youth to scale up, to provide livelihood and incomes to young people, women, and people affected or Ebola survivors.
Human Resource Manager of Plan International Sierra Leone, Flores Sombi, thanked the SOWIS for collaborating with their office in the fight against Ebola. SABC TV News Eye in Freetown, Hawa Mosiri reporting.
The Chairman National Telecommunications Commission, NATCOM, Momo Conte, has told the people of Mongo and Falaba chiefdoms in the Koinadougou district that the Commission is at present looking at other solutions in telecommunications which villages will benefit from. He made this statement whilst launching the Airtel Sierra Leone new 2G and 3G sites at Mongo and Falaba chiefdoms in the Koinadougou district. Eva Jasko reports.
The chairman for the launching ceremony, Sheku Momodu Sise, thanked Airtel and the chairman of NATCOM for their efforts in bringing Koinadougou district to the world of modern communication, which he said is a leading pillar to development. Paramount Chief in Mongo and Falaba chiefdoms said that the launching of the new 2G and 3G sites in Mongo and Falaba chiefdoms showed that Kabbalah is now part of the global world system of communication and that it is a big boost for the local indigenes. He added there was no mobile network and also poor road network in the Mongo and Falaba chiefdoms. He assured Airtel that as local leaders, they will utilize Airtel network and called on Airtel management to provide good service for the people. Addressing the people of Mongo and Falaba chiefdoms in Airtel marketing manager Mohamed Kuyate described the people of Mongo and Falaba chiefdoms as accommodative and tolerant, which has resulted to the launching of new 2G and 3G sites in the chiefdoms. He noted that their job is to connect people through standard mobile networking and that they are always innovative in introducing new programs to change the lives of ordinary people. He promised that Airtel will support children to grow better in their communities and called on the people of Mongo and Falaba chiefdoms to embrace the sites and help promote development in their communities.
We were in this site, Nanami was 2 or 3 weeks ago. Airtel launched what we call, for now I'm going to call out one day, and when we're confused, we call our data center Sideway, we will keep information. Airtel spent $10 million.
He pointed that Airtel strongly believe in education, health, sports and community-based programs that will help alleviate poverty in the country. The chairman of the National Telecommunication Commission, Momo Conte, told the people of Mongo and Falaba chiefdoms in the Koinadugu district that the commission is presently looking at other solutions in telecommunications, where villages will benefit nationally and internationally by using the internet to build up the health, infrastructure and education amongst others. The chairman of the National Telecommunication Commission also donated 2 sets and 100 mobile phones to the people of Mongo and Falaba chiefdoms.
We get 1 set and for Mongo. The other set will be Puli and for Pumula. But we left all to the chief. We get 50 phone set for Mongo. We get 50 phone set for Pumula.
Local leaders in Falaba chiefdom also thanked Airtel Sierra Leone for installing new 2G and 3G sites, which they said will enhance growth and development in Koinadugu district.
A seminar to sensitize lecturers and other academic staff on the way forward to stop examination malpractices has ended at the Great Hall of MMCET. Dr. Saidu Kanu is the principal of MMCET. He explains more about the current move.
Is to sensitize our staff about the numerous examination academic malpractice taking place in academic institutions in Sierra Leone. At Miltomaga, we have set up the examination task force, which is now charged with the responsibility of collecting questions from lecturers and generate a question bank from which they can select indiscriminately questions for students to take their exams. So it's like a bridge. The examination task force is a bridge between the academic domain and the administration, all in the effort of minimizing the examination academic practices in our institutions. The way forward now is how we are going to concretize and sustain this examination task force. But for now, I see it's the only practical way of minimizing examination malpractices and academic malpractices in academic institutions. We are going to support it. Now the lecturers have accepted the reality that we must put strategies in place to ensure that we minimize these malpractices. Some of the questions the lecturer asked, some of them we are asking how many questions are the questions, not many. If we ask them to submit 12 questions, and I said, if you have done question for a particular course over 5 years, then you have a pool of questions to submit. So that one, we cleared that doubt amongst our lecturers, and some were even asking about the selection criteria of the examination task force members, and the main criteria is credibility, reliability, and honesty of purpose in executing your duties. So that also will answer them. And I think for the other one that really came up is about the practical aspect. And the practical aspect, we have accepted that departments can conduct their practicals, but it must not exceed 30%. And written exams must be sent to the examination task force. And we also underscore the fact that the examination task force is not replacing the exams office. These are both institutions in the
That was the principal of the Milton Magai College of Education and Technology, Dr. Saidu Kanu. You're watching News Hour on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. Up next is the business stories, and for that we join Judith Sana.
Hello and welcome to Business Update. We begin with the foreign exchange rates. The US dollar buys at 5,887 leons and sells at 6,006 leons. Pound sterling buys at 8,370 leons and sells at 8,542 leons. Euro buys at 6,707 leons and sells at 6,841 leons. That's the foreign exchange rate courtesy of the United Bank for Africa, UBA. The ongoing national and international trade fair has been greeted with mixed feelings as traders say the sale of goods and services is in a snail pace. Let's join Julian Dumbuya as she visited the Shaka Stevens Stadium.
On the ongoing national and international trade fair at the Shaka Stevens Stadium. We are here to look at the sale of goods and services. So join me as we tour the stadium.
We'll bring you that insights in our next edition. American Express International Card Services total revenue net of interest expense fell by 5% to $1.3 billion in the December quarter. It formed 15% of the company's total revenue compared to $1.4 billion in the same quarter last year. On a constant dollar basis, the revenue rose by 6%, mainly due to higher card spending as the dollar stabilizes. International revenues are expected to post normal growth in one quarter. The market expects the US dollar to stabilize or decline in 2016. The Fed is expected to rise rates slowly. Well, that's it from the Business Desk. Many thanks for your time. I am Judith Sana.
Thank you very much, Judith, for the business stories. We continue with more stories on News Hour. The Executive Director of Civil Rights Coalition, Alfonso Mali, has urged the Ministry of Social Welfare and AFCON to give clarity on the recent post of the Minister of Social Welfare, Dr. Sylvia Blyden, that the fake internet service from AFCON cripples child protection in Sierra Leone. He was addressing a press at a news conference held at the Wilberforce Community Center. Here's an excerpt from the Executive Director of Civil Rights Coalition, Alfonso Mali.
Several findings in this press release. Findings number 1. AFCON entered into contract to deliver on communication solution for 116 Child Protection Helpline of the Ministry with support from UNICEF. This contract included 1. To set up a configuration of a call center at the Ministry office at New England. I want you to take note of point number 1, that the configuration should be set up at their premises at New England. 2. The establishment of VPN network connecting the call center at the Ministry's office in the 13 districts, which means they are to provide internet services for 13 offices in the 13 districts. Provisions of internet through VPN to enable dispatcher of 116 call center to transfer child protection alert cases to the district. 4. Officers in the district to utilize child protection software. This is the software that they should be using to access information. And also to supply configuration and core network, including switch, routers, server, and software application. 3. Since the signing of the contract in September 2015 and the receipt of the initial payment in October 2015, AFCON have taken steps as we understood to deliver on its mandate. The completion of this task has been delayed due to a number of reasons. 1. The building project was completed on the 9th of April 2016. That was the time when AFCON engineers have access to the new office of the Ministry of Social Welfare. Prior to that, AFCOM have advised the Ministry of Social Welfare, because the contract should last for 6 weeks for them to deliver. They have advised the ministry that we can host the server in our office since we do not have the facility as at now. But the ministry by then said, no, we want these facilities in our new office, which means they will wait for the completion of that office for them to install the server. The alternate one will be for the server to be installed at their office at AFCOM. But we know government want to manage their information well. Perhaps that's why they said, no, the server should be in our office. That was one of the factors of find out that caused the delay in the implementation of this program. And also what we find out that money given to NATCOM was 460 million, not 2 billion as was alleged, not $200 million as was alleged. It's 460 million, and that money was, yes, leons, cannot be dollars. And that money was meant for Ebola. After Ebola, the leftover, UNICEF used that money to support the Ministry of Social Welfare based on the importance they attach to children's issue worldwide.
That was the Executive Director of Civil Rights Coalition, Alfonso Mali. As the rainy season approaches, semblance of environmental problems have started showing its ugly head. Last on the 18th of April, the rain left piles of garbage along the streets of Freetown. SLBC team has been assessing the situation.
Later, the streets of Freetown, those citizens expressed happiness over the coming of the rains because of the water crisis. Behind that happiness is foreseen environmental disaster, as has been predicted by environmental experts. Many people expressed displeasure over the huge piles of filth.
This cleaning day, whether people explore on this country, is more better than any day. Letting have 1 camp for the month. Government no go grab, go allow people to go to this plastic copy full up in this country. We know for clearer. From today, we come on cross mama, we dey work, we dey sweep the plastic there and trees. No, it's not like plastic. This now, not we all the benefit. That way, they the government and the benefit. Why we for suffer the doti? Because no go to the people that bring and can this country, can't register the water company. I will not go kill the law. No, they do. South Africa, what they ready to do, when they see the plastic there, they banner. Say for make a paper back and for me. Anybody when they do market now, paper back and I put. Now they sell it. No plastic no for the day. From this one as a government, we don't give the people there. Lord say you when they sell water. Any plastic we see at treat. Once we know say you own company, now you name right there. Believe me, we go responsible. Or if not, that they won't get the company. Men will come and go clean the city. You can look at it.
They attributed the situation to the poor drainage system in the city. Suleiman Zainu Parker is the environmental and social officer at the Freetown City Council. He said that as a council, they are aware of the challenge of cleaning the city. It is because of this, he said, the council saw the need to hand over the management of garbage to Masada company to clean the city. But however, the situation of late has been challenging, he affirmed.
We have realized that we should not wait until the rains are serious. There are a lot of contributing factors to this kind of situation. One is population increase as a result of urbanization. Freetown as a city is not expanding, but the population keeps increasing day by day. And the facilities that we do have cannot meet those growing population. People have been migrating from the rural area to Freetown and an urban city. And during their activities, there has been a lot of commercial activities. And apart from commercial activities, we have seen some smaller industries also going to bigger industries. If adequate actions are not taken to put those waste under control, we will end up having, some kind of a garbage crisis, which we are gradually moving to.
It could be recalled that last year's
Well, that's our last story for this afternoon. To end news are the main points again. Vice President Victor Bokarifo has called on Veteran Journalists Union to provide guidance and required skills to practicing journalists. A session for civil society and the judiciary to ensure access to justice for citizens has ended in Freetown. Korean ambassador to Sierra Leone has supported the Freetown City Council with $120,000 for the rehabilitation of the East End. That's all in this edition of News Hour. On behalf of the news editor Abubakar Bangra and David Patrick Kamara, for more information about our program, send us an email to contact us at slbc.sl. I'm David Patrick Kamara. Good afternoon.